Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod. I'm here to talk about the challenge season 39, episode 6, titled The Big Mistake. Before I dive in, I put a link in the bio of these videos so you can go back and watch my recaps for the rest of the season. Also, you can subscribe to my channel for more reality recaps, but let's dive in. Previously on the challenge, Jordan showed up as a mercenary and sent Kieran home. When everyone gets back to the house, there's really not much to celebrate. They just lost $10,000. Zara says that the Jordanimal came out, and they decide that they have to nominate the strongest players so that the mercenaries don't take their money, but they seem to completely forget about the mercenaries after this. Nerys and Horacio bond. He likes that she has connection to her family, and she likes that he is innocent and sweet. Michelle, Jay, Asif, and Nerys meet to solidify their alliance. They call it the Fantastic Four, with Asif being their spy for the UK side of the house. It's not very often that we get these little alliances like this on the show, and it could be a good thing or a big mistake. Because the episode was titled The Big Mistake, I'm wondering what the big mistake is going to be the whole episode. Michelle apologizes to Corey for being upset with him in the previous challenge, and they hug it out. They show up to the challenge and it's a mud pit that looks like a nacho dip bowl full of poop. Mariah is excited because she has a lot of frustration and anger and would love to choke someone out in the mud today. Okay, Mariah, choke him out, girl. The challenge is called Bingo Bango, and it's basically bingo. They have bingo boards. TJ will throw bingo balls into the mud, and they split into 4 teams. They have to get the balls they feel like they need to make bingo. TJ leaves it ambiguous whether it'll be a guys or girls day, probably to get everyone to try at this. Olivia ends up on a team with Melissa and Big T, who are the house targets, so she says she's going to try to sabotage the team so that Melissa and Big T are not safe. So they fight over the balls. Big T notices that her team has no balls after a few rounds. Nerys says that she wishes she had a remote to put Horacio in slow motion so she could watch him in the mud. In the mud, Melissa kicks Nerys in the back. Uh-oh, that was a big mistake. Nerys is extremely upset, and Nerys says, "Bitch, don't kick me. Bitch, I'll play dirty too." Melissa says, "Fuck you, Nerys." This is where the vendettas are being made, and Nerys wants to play dirty. Emmanuel, Kyland, Horacio, Colleen, Zara, and Berna, who really were a stacked team, end up winning the challenge. TJ does tell them to pick one woman to go into elimination. When they deliberate, Kyland doesn't want to nominate Melissa, so they end up not being able to decide until TJ puts the pressure on them, and Berna, Colleen, and Emmanuel vote for Melissa. Zara defaults to Horacio for her vote. Nerys whispers to Horacio in Spanish, encouraging him to vote for Melissa, and Horacio does end up voting for Melissa, and Zara does too, so Melissa's going into the arena. Big T says she's fuming, and flames pop up behind her. After the challenge, Nerys is still mad that Melissa choked her and kicked her. Melissa finds a dead bird and says it's symbolic to her game. Big T tells Melissa that there was a plan to sabotage their team. It's time for them to go to the club. The club looks fun this time. Horacio steams things up by doing a strip tease for Nerys, undoing his shirt, straddling her, kissing her. Michelle says that she and Callum wouldn't do that, but would sneak to the bathroom for kisses. Sneak to the bathroom for kisses seems like adult code. Also, I forgot that Callum was still there. He's been such a background character lately for someone who's having an affair on TV. Callum then tells Asif that the only people who have gone are UK or international, and Asif says Callum doesn't understand he's Geppetto and Callum is Pinocchio. Melissa wants to meet with Nerys because she thinks Nerys is smart, almost like she wants to sort it out, but when they sit down, they instantly start fighting. Nerys walks away and Melissa laughs at her as she does so nothing was resolved. Melissa tells Big T that she can get the numbers to get Raven into elimination, but not Nerys. Big T says not Raven, and Melissa says, okay, do you want to go in then? And it seems like Big T would rather go in instead of Raven. Later, Nerys and Horacio talk and flirt. She says she's surprised. She thought that she'd never in a million years be into Horacio, which sounds like bullshit to me. Asif runs what Callum said back to Jay, and they call Callum stupid. James says he doesn't want to see Big T and Melissa go head to head, and I'm wondering, do these people really not think there's going to be another mercenary? In deliberation, Melissa starts off saying Big T is her best friend. Big T says she'll be loyal to people who don't say her name. Everyone ends up saying Big T's name, and Melissa and Big T have a great friendship moment when they get back, giving each other a big hug. They get into elimination, and Kaz ends up being the mercenary. I thought Melissa and Big T were doomed here, but of all the mercenaries, Kaz is probably the most beatable, or at least the one who I don't feel like is unbeatable. In the draw, Kaz pulls Big T's name, and they're playing Loaded Barrel. They'll be rolling in a barrel to collect bags full of puzzle pieces. Then they have to solve the puzzle. Big T makes sure to put on lip gloss and says you can't go into elimination with dry lips. Wet-lipped Big T is crushing it at this elimination, and Kaz is really not doing well. Kylan says that he's disappointed in Kaz and that she's not as strong as he thought that she was. Nerys whispers to herself that Kaz needs to get it together. Big T's strategy is to gather the pieces and bring them at the same time to avoid trips. She gets her pieces there first, and the puzzle is a tanagram, but it does have a puzzle printed on it, so it's not that hard. Big T ends up winning, which is pretty awesome. She and Melissa celebrate, and Big T saved the $10,000 for the prize pot, and TJ's super proud of her. TJ tells them that he'll see them all sooner than they think. So normally here's where I'll talk about the eliminated player, but there was no eliminated player this episode. We haven't had too much of this since I started my channel, but I hate non-elimination episodes on reality TV. On an elimination style show, if you have no elimination, you have no style. The ratings for this season are really so bad. 2 weeks ago, they teased that Jordan was going to be a mercenary to get people to tune into the following episode. Last week on the Next Week On, they didn't tell us who the mercenary was going to be, probably because if they saw it was Kaz, people would be like, who the hell is that? And I'm sure that some people did tune in to see who would come back, Cara, Maria, maybe Laurel, and then we just get Kaz and no elimination. This as a whole was a pretty decent episode given that there was some drama, and I really liked the challenge this episode, but I'm just left off feeling so agitated that this was just a royal waste of time. While I love the concept of mercenaries, and I like that the mercenaries are coming back and they're big names, the fact that if the challengers win, it's a non-elimination episode is just such a bad format. That's all I really have to say about it this week. If you like my channel, don't forget to subscribe like I said. I'll be back next week to talk about this dumpster fire. Oh yeah, I never resolved what was the big mistake. I think the big mistake was me watching this instead of spending time with my family on Thanksgiving, so I'm about to go eat some turkey. Have a nice weekend. Bye!